So we've been waiting a long, long time for this now.
Yes.
We've both been sort of. You've done a lot more than I have. Catching up on Refn's work. You have seen.
I've seen Pusher, Bleeder, Fear X. The only ones I've not seen are Pusher 2, 3, and Valhalla Rising. I think they will probably be watched soon.
You say Pusher 2 is quite good, don't you, Joe? The Mads Mikkelsen one.
Apparently it's meant to be good. I haven't seen it.
I watched Bronson in a build up to this, and it's very good.
Yes,
I really enjoyed that. I'm glad I've seen that finally. But yeah, he's an interesting director, Refn. You always
safe to say.
I know that there's divides for some. I know we all love Drive. I know you really don't like Only God Forgives, Liam, but
I watched it. I watched it before I could understand it. I didn't realise all the sort of subtext.
Well, how long ago did you watch it?
About 3 years ago.
Oh, that's not too long ago.
Yeah, but I wasn't
like an idiot.
I wasn't like a complete critical. I think the whole subplot between the mother and Julian totally flew me by.
Oh, but obviously, we can revisit that at some point. But yeah, he's a director who is controversial, and that's good about him because nobody's ever going to come to a direct opinion on one of his films because he always tries to mix things up, and he has a very distinct style. He's not going to change from that. He is a man who's interested in the depraved and the fanatical, but that's all the power to him because he likes the out of the ordinary to put it lightly. But and that's always got to be the power to him, and I hope he just keeps making more films like that. So The Neon Demon was booed categorically out of Cannes Film Festival.
No, it got boos and applause.
And
it got both. It didn't get booed out the door. It's Cannes. It happens all the time.
It got mooed.
Yeah, Keanu calls it mooing. Yeah,
I thought it got booed, but it did get booed.
It got booed, but it got both.
Yeah, but as critical reaction so far, it's got a 51% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes,
which is kind of perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, which is kind of perfect because it is the ultimate Marmite film. So basically, Elle and his aspiring model Jessie, who's only 16 years old, she's just moved to LA. Basically, her parents have passed away, and she's presumably moved here to get a fresh start and capitalise on the only thing she's good at. She admits herself that she was never good at writing or singing or dancing, and she's going to capitalise on because pretty can make money.
Yeah,
essentially that's what she says herself. And however, instantly, as soon as she is invited to a party when she meets Ruby, played by Jena Malone, who's a makeup artist, she's invited to a party. They go there, and immediately eyes are set on her by a group of brutally obsessed, jealous, catty women who want her youth and vitality for their own ends, and who are jealous of it. And obviously, it's the brutal fashion industry, and they're going to do any means necessary to take what they can get.
Yes.
Now, and we've seen it twice.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing to preface. We saw it once with Joe, and then we saw me and you, Liam, saw it again twice.
Yeah. And
I feel like it wasn't so much of a film that I wanted to go there to understand it again in the second viewing. It was sort of, I don't know if this was your focus, but I focused intensely now because obviously now that we'd seen the film in the first time and we'd seen where the story was going to go, we know the beats, we know what was going to happen.
Yep.
I went there to sort of focus more on just the sort of little like nuance and UI of Elle Fannon's journey, like of her character. I feel like it is sort of the really sordid fairy tale kind of story. That is absolutely what I've got from this most, because it's just you see her come in to the business, and she's got that doe-eyed look. Jena Malone's character points it out immediately. She's got that look that they love.
The deer in the headlights.
Yeah. And that's it just sort of sums it up, because you see her go from this, this totally innocent, this frightened child essentially who can still hold her own, to this woman essentially who can perfectly understand it. And it's a really gripping. It's fascinating because it's just a testament to how good she is as an actress that you really get to see her develop this. And obviously she is surrounded by beautifully talented women. The whole cast just shines.
I think it works best because she is genuinely beautiful.
Yeah,
there's no doubt when you watch the film. There's nobody who could sit and watch the film and go, nah, she wasn't really beautiful enough to have that kind of allure. But she genuinely is. It's the thing she does with her face. The fact that she does genuinely.
It is so hard to describe.
This sounds like gushing, but she does have a really nice face.
Again, like Jena Malone says, she's got that thing.
Yeah, she does have that thing.
You can't really just get the gist of what it is that makes her so, just transpiring, like so alluring to look at. It's beauty and casting choice, and I feel like we have seen the film itself. We've seen a fashion satire already this year in Zoolander 2. if you can call it that. And now there's
a difference between parody
probably
and satire.
the most cutting satire of a lot of films that I've seen in The Neon Demon. This is really, it's to point out the most. It's got a lot of humour.
Yeah,
like it's a lot
very
of dark humour. Like it's dark, but it's still got a lot of humour. Keanu Reeves' character, he's like a sleazy motel owner who Elle Fannon's character is in one of the hotel rooms of, and he's sort of, you can tell that his character's more like a more bark than bite. You know,
that's what I said, didn't I?
Yeah, you said that, yeah. But I feel like you can feel like he's got sort of more presence than he does like actual action. And there's a lot of sort of, I know you pointed out one thing about there's a specific scene which is great, which is sort of like, do you think it's Keanu Reeves' character going to knock in because he's already been teed up as sort of a paedophile? But
there's so much we can't say.
Yeah, but it could be a different character.
Yeah.
And we can't really get into it because of spoilers. But yeah, I mean, I think...
And also because it's just downright horrible.
And it's downright horrible, so I don't want to talk about it on the radio. But,
podcast.
Podcast.
To hear all of it.
Yeah, it's intoxicating half the way through. That's the best way I can describe it. It's an intoxicating trance of a film that you just transcribed into this whole thing. You want to know every single beat of it, what's going to happen to it, because you are hooked into it. And I feel like, I mean, if there was any downsides, to be honest, I feel like as it reaches its climax, there is sort of a final standoff, I would say. And it's sort of,
I disagree with you here.
It sort of lets it down a little bit. I mean, obviously, because it's building up to that point. But the ending itself is great. But I mean, just that part disappointed me. I wanted to see more Christina Hendricks' character. She plays sort of a casting scout that she tees up, and she's great in that little cutting part. She's only in it for a few minutes. She was great. But apart from that, I think that there's very little that changed because it's clearly just one man's vision. I mean, Refn himself said that this was a film he made for the 16-year-old within him. Yeah. You know, like he wanted to make this for the
16-year-old girl.
The 16-year-old girl within him. Yeah, and you can just tell him, and you can't argue with a man who's got that much vision for his own film that you just got to sort of watch and let it wash over you in its beautiful, brutal trance state. Yeah. You know, it's something.
It's something.
Certainly a film.
It's certainly a film.
It's nice to go into a film and just be completely hypnotised. That's kind of what it felt like.
It is a trance.
I sort of left it just feeling quite floaty, and even though some of the things you see on the screen, I mean, let's just say some of the people are really overselling it. It's not necessarily. Well, no, there's some bits that are depraved, but like
Daily Mail called it, has cinema ever been this depraved?
Yes.
Well,
they had said about that before.
Yeah. It's got. I give it like 2 or 3 scenes that are like really out there, but honestly, no.
There's one scene in particular.
Yeah.
That's what they're focusing their attention on, isn't it? Really, there's one particular scene, about an hour and a half,
featuring a taboo act. Let's just.
But there's nothing more we can say than that.
No.
I mean, the soundtrack maybe one of Cliff Martin's best, maybe better than Drive. There's sort of the pumping synth. It's got this sort of, it goes between the fairy tale and the sort of catwalk themes, and it's perfect. And then you've got the other bits of music that are kind of not by Martinez himself that really add to it. The colours, I found out this week he's colourblind. Refn's colourblind.
Yeah, I did not know that.
But I mean, he's got a fantastic DOP who he's worked with some on some adverts and some commercials. It's written by women, and it shows that it's kind of the female characters are better than if he would have done it, because he kind of imagined that he wouldn't have written the best female characters. But we criticised Gosling for doing this. He picked his location first, didn't he? He said he didn't want to shoot in Japan again. He wanted to shoot in Los Angeles, and then that's when the story kind of came about. And it kind of shows, but I liked it. I really liked it, and I guess the reason I wanted to see it a second time was to sort of bathe in the depravity.
It's a proper sensory experience.
Yeah,
like it's just the uses of light and sound and just colour, and it's just, I mean, the opening shot is literally like an art painting, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That just sort of slowly pans out, and it's just, if anything, it's just a great experience to watch and take in. You know, you might think the story is sort of shallow or depraved or any other buzzwords you want to throw about, but I feel like you just sort of have to be swept away with it, because it is one man's vision put on screen.
He does what he wants.
That is definitely unshakable in that vision, and you've got to sort of just accept it, that this is what is inside Nicolas Winding Refn's mind, and I really do think it won't be a matter of time before he makes an actual snuff film. Like, he's a crazy man. I love that man.
At least it'll look good.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name I'm doing, because, I mean, thinking about it, obviously got good old Refn's visual style, which probably in this is some of the best he's done. I mean, with his DOP, he's probably, I mean,
Natasha Brea was the name.
Natasha Brea.
Yeah.
Oh, no, never heard. She's only done commercials, and that's it.
She's worked with him on commercials. I don't know what she's done before this, but she's very good.
Yeah, brilliant, like, visual style. I mean, loads of, especially in the hallways, tons of Kubrick and kind of one-point perspective type deals. But I mean, story and theme wise, it's.
Do you think style of a substance?
Nah, not at all. I mean, it's the world she's in. Really,
yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of big glamorous flashy world she's in, but it's kind of like it's a strange film in the sense that it's got a kind of a mix of, the cattiness and the horribleness of the kind of industry, as well as the fact that her own little weird character study of how she gets too big for her boots, and then that kind of fizzles out into the the other one, the fashion industry. But I don't know. I mean, overall, yeah, I enjoyed the film. Probably don't know if I'll ever see it again.
No,
but
I'd probably go see it again now.
I'd
probably go see it again in 10 minutes.
I did overall enjoy it, but I haven't thought about it much since. So I'll give it that. But
I feel
it is probably, it's much better than Only God Forgives. I'll give it that.
I couldn't decide really out of them and out of those two and Drive.
I think it's
I love all three of them.
I think with the film, he's perfect mix of metaphor, because I think Only God Forgives was way too metaphorical.
Yeah, I loved it though. I thought it was great.
Well, we're going to continue this in the podcast because I kind of want to speak more about the stuff that we can't speak about here.
By the way, Natasha Bray did films like XXY in 2007, and she also did The Rover with Patterson, Robert Patterson.
Abbey Lee, the entire cast is fantastic, and Jena Malone's getting a lot of praise, and rightly so. Elle Fanning too, but I think Abbey Lee is such an understated performance. She's the older one who kind of doesn't get the work because she's deemed as too old.
Yeah.
It's the little lip lift at the end.
Yeah.
When the thing happens, and it's just a subtle little lip lift.
Yeah.
I've heard complaints about the dialogue, which I think's fine because it has that kind of spacious artness. But
it is foreshadowing though, setting the scene.
It is a performances mainly of facial expressions. I'll give it that. So.
The foreshadowing's top notch in this film. I think Jena Malone stole it second time around. I think the complexities of her performance are just.
I kind of feel sorry for her after what happens, but I can't see.
Yeah, oh god, I love the whole cast were terrific.
That's the Neon Demon. It's out now at the Tyneside and other places as well. And we'll get on to our next.